Okay, so as I just stated earlier, that we're going to be using object pronouns, and obviously with the examples there, give me that, dame eso, and don't read it, no lo leas. We have to learn the rules of pronouns with our commands. Last lesson, we covered commands. If you can't remember how to form commands, that's going to be a problem. You might need to go back and look at your notes or look at the video on YouTube of me introducing the commands. That box that we had on the board for a long time with positive, negative, to, usted, ustedes, and nosotros is going to help you because now we're adding on to them with pronouns. In Spanish, the placement of object pronouns depends on whether it's affirmative or negative. So that's pretty important. I would go ahead and make sure you write, I didn't mean to do that though, that your placement, positive or negative, is going to determine what you do with these pronouns that we're getting ready to talk about. And let's just go ahead and refresh it. Positives go where? Attach. What happens if you attach a pronoun? What do you have to watch? Accents. And negative commands precede, right? Okay. First thing we need to talk about, this is a whole bunch of stuff for you, but we have 3 different types of pronouns available. We have reflexives, we have indirects, and we have directs. And you need to remember them in that order because we have a rule called RID. Did you guys learn RID last year? Yeah. Yes, because it has to do with where to put them when we have double object pronouns. So, 3 different types of pronouns available for use. Reflexives, with those verbs that are actions that you do to yourself or one does to themselves, like brush teeth, stand up, wake up, etc. Indirects and directs. This chart is actually super informative, and it's just one of those things that keep coming up. Down below, I have given you what a reflexive person or what a reflexive verb does. It's something that they do to themselves. What's an indirect object? You answer to whom or for whom. What's a direct? Whom or what is the subject acting upon? Those are the questions that you have to find out to figure out if you have a reflexive, an indirect, or a direct object. So then you know what type of pronoun to use. Down below, we've got some examples of the different types in use. Se lava, she washes herself. Le escribo un email. I write. What do I write? An email. To whom? Him. I see the house. What do I see? The house. I can replace la casa with la. All of this seems like pretty basic stuff, right? But you have to have all 3 charts memorized. And I highly suggest when you get homework or you get activities that you're working on or a test or an assessment, go ahead and make 3 charts and label them and put them in there so that you know exactly what you're dealing with. Oh, go back? Yes. Okay. There it is. And like I said, this will be up on my YouTube stuff. You can always go through there and you can do whatever you need to do with the notes. So we know our pronouns. We know the order that they have to come in, which is RID. We know which pronouns mean what with the to whom, for whom versus whom or what and reflexive verbs. So the previous slide we talked about where to put them. Positives attach, negatives go in front. Now we're going to look at some example sentences. Are we ready to roll? Okay. All right. In affirmative commands, you attach pronouns to the end of the verb. In negatives, they go before the verb and after no. So you probably just need to go with your example sentences. An affirmative command, Julia, describe tu comunidad. That is the long form of it, but we don't have to say tu comunidad if we've already established that in previous conversation. So we could just say describe la. Notice it is a positive command, and you will just attach on your la to the end there so that you have to mark your accent. Describe, original command. That's what you're looking at. It ends in a vowel, right? What's the rule? If a word ends in a vowel, N or what's the S, the stress is naturally going to fall on the second to last syllable. So if describe is my last syllable, my second to last is right there because I've got 3 syllables. Describe. All right. No me digas la respuesta. Don't tell me the answer. But we could get rid of respuesta and replace it with a pronoun, which is going to be la. So then we have a negative command. No me la digas. Here you have your indirect. Don't tell to whom? Me. Don't tell me what? The answer. So here you have an indirect and then a direct, which that follows your RID rule, right? Because you're supposed to have reflexives, indirects, and directs. And we don't have a reflexive. We have an indirect and we have a direct. That rule, RID, works whether it is attached, like in describe la, we only have one pronoun, or in front. Okay? Okay, let's look at another example. If both object pronouns begin with L, this is one of those things that you have to, oh, that's not the pen that I wanted to have. If both of them begin with L, we have to change the L to say. So you will not have lay low, you should have say low, okay? Or lace la would change to say. Okay. Preguntas. I know I've done double object pronouns with you, and I think the textbook says that it's a review as well, but that's not always true, so. Okay. All right, and I don't know why that didn't advance up there. Thought I had this going pretty well, but there's just one more slide. Whoa. We had that one. Okay. Reflexive verbs. With an object pronoun, the reflexive pronoun comes before the object pronoun. You really don't need to write this down because we already have this established, right? Because this is saying where to put a reflexive verb. You guys know that, right? How do we know where to put a reflexive pronoun? What rule tells us where?
I said affirmative or negative.
Okay, affirmative or negative, and then in the order we learn by rid, right? So all of this is stuff that we've already talked about with where to put a reflexive pronoun. So here you have a positive to command with ponte. We're telling you, because that's a positive to command, you put on. Poner se is my original infinitive. And I say you put on the boots, so put them on. Pon is my command. Te is my reflexive. And las is my direct. So you put them on yourself is basically what the te refers to. This is common, a common place to make errors. Positive to commands that are reflexive, like putting on, ponerse, lavarse, despertarse, all of those positive to commands are going to use the heck out of the pronoun te, right? Unless you make an usted command. Down here is the complete opposite. That was a positive to command. Look at this. We went to the yo form, chop the yo, opposite vowel for a poner is pongas, but we still need the te because it's a reflexive verb that we're telling them to do. So don't put on the boots. No te las pongas. Don't put them on yourself. Okay? Sometimes we do. We just don't know it because we don't. I don't have anything today, but they're listening to a tell you story, I can tell. All right, up here, a nosotros command. This is one thing that we haven't done a whole lot of, but Dora exposed it to you as a child. Whenever you have a nosotros command, you're going to drop the S if you have a reflexive pronoun. Like Dora uses irse, which is to go away. Diego might use it as well. But the reason why Dora gets away with saying vamonos, right? She says vamonos. Vamonos is simply ear in the nosotros, vamos, with the S cut off, with the nos, because we're saying let's go away. Here's organicemos, and that's just let's organize a meeting. Well, if we want to actually organize ourselves and make it reflexive, notice the S went away. We attached on nos, but then once we attached nos on, we had to look at our original command in red. It ends in a vowel. The second to last syllable is se. So nosotros commands drop the S for the reflexive pronoun. Preguntas. All right. And that is all of your notes for today, because that gets you in.